The chamber was vast, a cathedral of steel and light, where the most powerful beings in the galaxy convened to dictate the fate of lesser civilizations. At the center of it, surrounded by towering figures with luminous eyes and chitinous armor, stood Captain Darius Cole, humanity's lone representative, hands clasped behind his back, face impassive. Above him, the holographic projection of the Supreme Arbiter flickered into focus, a creature of shifting translucence, its voice a measured hum. Earth is not ready. The Arbiter's words resonated in the chamber, cold and final. Your species is reckless, unpredictable. We have calculated every possible outcome, and in all cases, your involvement in this war ends in chaos. Cole remained still. He'd read the reports, studied the histories. The Zilari Empire had been rampaging through neutral systems, raising colonies, enslaving populations, and the vaunted Galactic Council, paralyzed by bureaucracy, had done nothing but argue about rules of engagement. The Arbiter continued, "This is your final warning, Captain. Earth must stay out of this war." Cole exhaled slowly, forcing a polite nod. He already knew his response, though he chose his words carefully. "Understood, Supreme Arbiter." A pause. The council members seemed satisfied. Cole turned on his heel, exiting the chamber before they could second-guess his compliance. They had no idea. The moment the doors sealed behind him, Cole's comm device vibrated. He tapped it. "Captain, we have a situation." Dr. Aisha Patel's voice was crisp, precise. Cole quickened his pace down the sterile corridor toward the diplomatic shuttle. "Tell me." "Distress signal from Vesper 3. Cole stopped. Vesper 3 was a neutral colony, populated by over a dozen species. No military presence, no strategic value. And yet, Zilari. Confirmed. A slow burn of anger ignited in his chest. "Casualties. They're hitting population centers. We estimate 30,000 at risk." Cole exhaled sharply. The council knew, and they still refused to act. The shuttle doors hissed open. Inside, 3 figures waited for him. At the pilot's seat, Zeke Wildcard Carter spun in his chair, a cocky grin on his face. "So, we going home? Or are we about to do something incredibly stupid?" Luis L.T. Torres leaned against the wall, arms crossed, eyes burning with idealistic fire. "We can't just ignore this." At the central console, Dr. Aisha Patel barely glanced up from her screen, her fingers dancing over complex alien schematics. "Technically, we'd only be violating intergalactic law if we were caught." Cole exhaled, rubbing his temple. He was surrounded by lunatics, but he'd picked them for a reason. "All right," he said. "We go dark. No official records. No backup. We're ghosts." Torres grinned. "That's what I like to hear." Zeke cracked his knuckles. "Oh man, I've been bored since we left Earth." Cole settled into the command chair. This was madness. Reckless. And the council was right about one thing. Humans never listened. Vesper 3 came into view. A once thriving colony now scarred with smoke trails and burning wreckage. From orbit, the devastation was clear. Streets turned to rubble, comm towers reduced to twisted metal, fires spreading unchecked. "LT, find us a landing zone," Cole ordered. Torres studied the scanners. Industrial sectors intact. Looks abandoned. Good enough. Zeke gripped the controls with gleeful anticipation. "Fast and quiet. I can do that." The shuttle dove. Flashes of plasma fire streaked the atmosphere, but Zeke twisted the Boeing ship between bursts, weaving through the chaos with practiced recklessness. A lesser pilot would have panicked. Zeke laughed. They hit the ground hard, dust and debris scattering. The ramp lowered. Cole unstrapped, drawing his sidearm. "We move fast. Aisha, find out if there are survivors. LT, get us comms with any remaining resistance." Zeke slung a modified plasma rifle over his shoulder. "And me?" Cole sighed. "Don't blow anything up." "No promises." They stepped into the ruins. The air smelled of ozone and burning metal. Somewhere in the distance, a structure collapsed, sending a plume of smoke skyward. Then, a sound. A metallic chittering, like rusted gears grinding together. Aisha tapped her wrist device. I'm picking up movement. Not human. Cole signaled for silence. They crept forward, moving through the wreckage. And then they saw it. A Zalari enforcer, 7 feet tall, exoskeleton gleaming, mandibles clicking. Its 4 arms clutched a rifle designed to punch through tank armor. It hadn't seen them yet. Cole raised a fist. Hold. Zeke, predictably, ignored him. Hey, ugly! Cole barely had time to process the sheer stupidity of the move before Zeke threw a metal canister. It bounced once, then detonated. Not with fire, but with an ear-piercing, skull-rattling sonic blast. The Zalari reeled, its entire body spasming. Cole fired 2 precise shots, striking the exposed joints. The creature collapsed. Zeke grinned. See? Didn't blow anything up. Cole exhaled through gritted teeth. Next time, check with me before you... Aisha interrupted. I'm getting more movement. A lot more. A shadow passed overhead. Reinforcements. Torres cursed. They know we're here. The distant hum of approaching warships vibrated through the air. Cole assessed the battlefield. The odds stacked against them. Then, he squared his shoulders. Good, he muttered. Let's make them regret it. The sky above Vesper 3 churned with distant plasma fire. But on the ground, the silence was thick and waiting. The humans had minutes, maybe less, before the Zalari reinforcements arrived. Cole moved fast, his boots crunching over shattered glass and twisted steel. Aisha, where's the nearest shelter? Dr. Patel scanned her wrist device, fingers a blur over the display. There's an old mining complex a click east. Underground, stable structure. Might have survivors. Cole nodded. That's our destination. Move. The team took off at a sprint, dodging between ruined buildings, staying low. Zeke had the rifle up, his eyes scanning for movement. Torres moved like a ghost, ever watchful, while Aisha ran beside Cole, her mind already working 5 steps ahead. Flicker of movement, shadows shifting beyond a collapsed wall. Cole raised a fist. Hold. From behind the debris, eyes glowed. A dozen of them, varying colors, sizes. Then, a figure emerged. It was not Zalari. A thin, insectoid alien stepped forward, its body wrapped in makeshift armor, mandibles twitching in uncertainty. Behind it, others, various species, battered but alive. Refugees. Torres lifted his hands in a universal sign of peace. We're not your enemy. The insectoid hesitated, then spoke in halting galactic common. You are human. Zeke smirked. Guilty as charged. Another figure stepped forward, reptilian, voice sharp with desperation. Are you here to help? Cole took a measured breath. That depends. Can you fight? A silence stretched between them. Then, slowly, the refugees nodded. The mining facility loomed ahead, its entrance half buried under rubble. Inside, the air was thick with dust and desperation. Refugees huddled in corners, dozens of species, wounded, starving. Cole took it all in. This wasn't just a lost colony. It was a massacre waiting to happen. Aisha was already at work, assessing survivors, malnourished, but salvageable. Torres knelt beside an injured amphibian child, offering a water canister. How long have you been hiding? A scarred avian alien, who seemed to be the closest thing to a leader, stepped forward. Since the first attack. The Zalari. They do not take prisoners. Cole's jaw tightened. They will if we let them. The avian hesitated. The others. They are afraid. We have no weapons. No soldiers. Zeke clapped his hands together. Well, buddy, good news. We're really good at pissing off the right people. Cole exhaled. We don't have time for training, but if you can hold a weapon, we can make you useful. Aisha stepped forward. We need more than fighters. We need thinkers, engineers, medics, Torres added. And we need hope. If you've survived this long, you're stronger than you think. A murmur ran through the crowd. Uncertainty, hesitation, then resolve. The refugees weren't soldiers, but they would be. It took 15 minutes for Aisha to turn scrap into functioning weapons. Plasma packs stripped from wrecked Zalari drones, repurposed mining tools, homemade explosives. Zeke grinned like a kid in a candy store. I love human ingenuity. Cole surveyed their defenses. Improvised, haphazard, unpredictable, which meant the Zalari wouldn't see it coming. Torres, take a team and set up choke points. Zeke, you and Aisha focus on sabotage. If they break through, we make them regret it. Torres smirked. That's my specialty. The first Zalari dropship pierced the sky, descending like a metal predator. Cole rolled his shoulders. Here we go. The Zalari came like a tide, heavily armed, confident. They expected civilians. Weakness. What they got was human chaos. As the first Zalari troops entered the mining tunnels, the ground exploded beneath them. Aisha's repurposed plasma charges, igniting in a wave of concussive force. Then, the second phase. Zeke, perched high on a rusted catwalk, dropped a stolen Zalari shield generator right into the enemy's path. It activated instantly, trapping them inside their own energy barrier. Zeke cackled. Would you look at that? Reverse engineering is a beautiful thing. Inside the shield, the Zalari roared, slamming against their own technology. Cole seized the moment. Open fire! Refugees who had never held weapons before fought like they'd been training for years. They moved as Torres instructed, fired when Cole commanded, and adapted as fast as Aisha calculated. This wasn't war by the Council's rules. This was human ingenuity at its finest. The first wave was broken. The second never came. From the ridge, above, a Zalari officer watched through dark, unblinking eyes. They had underestimated humanity. For the first time in history, a species had fought back with something more dangerous than strength: creativity. The officer turned, activating a communicator. Report to High Command. The humans are here. The dust hadn't settled before the second wave arrived. Cole watched from the mining facility's upper ridge as the horizon darkened with incoming Zalari warships. Too many. Too fast. They weren't underestimating the humans anymore. They're adapting. Aisha murmured beside him, scanning the enemy formations. They're coming in tight this time. No gaps in their approach. Zeke adjusted his stolen Zalari rifle. So, what's the play, fearless leader? Surrender and hope they like our winning personalities? Torres scoffed. You'd last 10 seconds before offending their entire species. 10 seconds. I feel insulted. Cole's jaw tightened. We hold them off, long enough to send a message. Aisha raised an eyebrow. To who? The Galactic Council? They made their stance pretty damn clear. Cole's expression hardened. Not them. Earth. A beat of silence. Then Torres grinned. I like it. But how do we send a distress signal when they've got jammers blanketing the planet? Aisha's eyes flickered with inspiration. We don't send a message through. They're jammers. We turn their jammers into the message. Zeke blinked. I have no idea what that means, but I already love it. Aisha knelt over a captured Zalari comms array, her fingers working fast. Their jamming field works by flooding subspace frequencies with white noise. If I can rewire the emitters, I can make the noise spell something. Torres caught on. A pattern. Cole nodded. Morse code. Aisha grinned. They'll never see it coming. Zeke whistled. Damn, if we survive this, I'm officially putting terrifying genius on your name tag. Aisha smirked. We won't survive this if you don't get me inside their primary jamming station. Zeke slapped a fresh power cell into his rifle. Then let's go break some laws of war. The Zalari jamming facility was nestled within a collapsed trade depot, its spires bristling with comms arrays. The area swarmed with patrols, more than expected. Torres exhaled. They know we're coming. Cole checked his weapon. Then we won't disappoint them. They moved fast. Shadows in the wreckage. The first guard went down without a sound. Torres's knife sliding between armor plates. Zeke took the second from behind, muffling the dying Zalari's screech with one hand, while the other twisted its neck. Stealth, he whispered. Not my usual style, but I can see the appeal. Aisha darted to the console. Cover me. The moment her hands touched the controls, alarms blared. Zeke groaned. Ah, there it is. The part where it all goes to hell. The Zalari swarmed. Cole fired first. Plasma shots cutting through the incoming soldiers. Torres took down 2 with precision headshots before ducking behind cover. Zeke, laughing like a madman, activated his last stolen shield generator, an energy bubble that trapped the Zalari commander inside with him. Oh, buddy. Zeke grinned, cracking his knuckles. You are not gonna like this. The fight was brutal. Close quarters. The humans fought dirty. Smoke bombs, improvised explosives, using the environment itself as a weapon. Aisha's voice cut through the chaos. It's done. Cole turned. You sent the signal? Aisha grinned. No. I hijacked every Zalari ship's speakers and am currently broadcasting Earth's national anthem at maximum volume. A beat. Then Torres laughed. That's actually brilliant. Zeke, bruised but victorious, wiped blood from his lip. You just rickrolled an entire fleet. Cole exhaled. Let's hope Earth is listening. The humans fell back to the mining complex, the refugees waiting, armed. The Zalari regrouped, their forces tripling in size. Torres knelt beside Cole. Odds? Cole smirked. I stopped counting when they hit 100 to 1. Zeke grinned. Oh, good. I hate math. Aisha adjusted her wrist device. If the signal reached Earth, reinforcements could already be on the way. Cole nodded. Then we just have to hold. The Zalari advanced. The final battle began. The ground trembled beneath their feet. The Zalari charged, a wall of shimmering armor and plasma fire closing in like an unstoppable force. The mining complex, once a place of hiding, had become their final battleground. Cole took cover behind, a shattered transport, his rifle hot in his hands. Hold the line! Aim for the gaps in their armor. The first volley of enemy fire slammed into their defenses, scorching walls and kicking up plumes of dust. The refugees did not break. Zeke, crouched beside a wrecked loader mech, laughed as he fired a stolen Zalari rifle. You know, I always wanted to die on an alien rock fighting overwhelming odds. Torres, reloading with practice speed, deadpanned. You could stop talking and improve those odds. Zeke winked. Where's the fun in that? Aisha, huddled, behind an overturned supply crate, worked frantically on her wrist device. If we hold them for just a few more minutes, Cole didn't need to ask. Earth had to be listening. If they weren't, this was the end. The Zalari pressed harder, their troops shifting tactics, learning from human unpredictability. They adapted, which meant the humans had to be more unpredictable. Torres barked orders, directing refugees into new formations, fighting not with brute strength, but creativity. Ambushes in collapsing tunnels, plasma explosives hidden in mining carts, sudden retreats that lured the enemy into kill zones. Still, it wasn't enough. More. Zalari ships descended, raining fire from above. The humans were outgunned, outnumbered. Even their brilliance had limits. Cole slammed a fresh battery into his rifle. We're losing ground. Zeke panted, blood trickling from a cut on his forehead. Gotta admit, I thought we'd last, at least another 5 minutes. Aisha's wrist device pinged. Then her eyes widened. They're here. The sky split open in a roar of sonic booms. Human warships. They descended like avenging gods, streaking through the air in coordinated formations. Sleek, brutal, built for war. Zalari commanders hesitated for the first time. Then, the bombardment began. Orbital rail cannons punched through enemy dropships, tearing them apart in fire and wreckage. Earth's experimental exotroopers deployed in freefall, landing amidst the Zalari ranks with devastating precision. The tide turned. The battle shifted, and for the first time, the Zalari knew fear. The enemy broke. Those who could flee did. Those who couldn't were left behind. Cole stood among the wreckage, his rifle heavy in his hands. The air stank of burning metal and ozone. Torres exhaled, rolling his shoulders. We actually pulled it off. Zeke grinned. No one's more shocked than me. Aisha's gaze was locked on the descending Earth warships. We sent a distress call. But this? Her voice wavered. This wasn't just a rescue. This was a statement. As the first of the Earth soldiers stepped onto the battlefield, their armor gleaming in the firelight, the realization settled in. Earth had come, not just to save them, but to claim its place in the war. The Council's warning had been clear. Earth must stay out of this war. Humanity's answer? Too late. We're already here.